Welcome back to another edition of Recruiting Thursday here on the Westmoreland Sports Network. Jack Ridenour here with you, and today we are joined by current Hempfield Area baseball player and Seton Hill baseball commit, Gage Wheaton. Gage, great to get you today, and thanks so much for joining us on WSN. First off, really would love to hear how this all kind of feels for you and just what this feeling of getting this commitment over with feels for you.
Well, I'm really excited to finally commit, especially to a good school like Seton Hill. I've had ACL and UCL surgery within the past 1.5, 2 years. So just coming back and playing, I've just been really thankful for the opportunity.
Well, what's that road to recovery been like for you? I mean, you're going through multiple injuries, and not to mention those are serious injuries to add to it. How was that kind of rehabbing and getting through and then finally getting back onto the field to play?
It was tough mentally and physically to rehab through all those injuries, and I actually hurt my ACL or tore my ACL my first game back from UCL surgery. So it being back to back like that, it was even more challenging mentally more than anything.
So how were you able to get over that mental hurdle and talk a little bit about the mental aspect of recovery? Because I don't think when you have an injury, people are automatically thinking about the mental fortitude you have to get through that. They only think about the physical part. So what was it like to mentally get through that?
Yeah, mentally it was tough. For me, what worked best for me was I was around the game like as much as possible. Like I'd go travel with my travel team, even though I couldn't play, but I was just around like my friends and like just my teammates, just help keeping me in a good mood.
Well, the camaraderie and that kind of togetherness definitely, I think, can maybe accelerate that recovery process. But I want to get into your decision to ultimately land at Seton Hill. What was it about the school, about the program that drew you to the Griffins?
I was lucky enough to visit Seton Hill last spring, and just the whole facility, like the coaching, and just like they just have a really nice team and like campus and everything.
What were some other schools that you were interested in and were also looking at you? I mean, what were some other options that were on the table for you?
A few years ago, WVU contacted me a little bit before my injuries, obviously. And I think before my ACL surgery, I talked a little bit to the IUP coach.
So how frustrating was that for you when you're talking to these coaches and they're kind of quickly vanishing with your injury? I mean, how frustrating and annoying was that for you, to go through that not once but twice?
I get it. Like they have a job to do. They got to recruit kids because they don't know if I'm going to come back to the same player I was beforehand. So yeah, yeah.
Well, I know that obviously with the tradition of Seton Hill, I mean, you've landed at a great place, especially in the baseball department. How much does this mean to you to be able to stay local, stay in almost the backyard, if you will, of where Hempfield Area High School is right now and play for such a storied program in the PSAC in Seton Hill?
Yeah, I know Seton Hill, they're always competitive and they're always trying to win. And especially the PSAC, like the PSAC conference is always competitive. So I'm just glad to stay close and play in a competitive division.
I know that you'll also be with some former teammates of yours that were Spartans with you, and now you'll get to be Griffins with them. What kind of conversations have you had with guys like Joe Fedor and Christian Zilli a little bit, and just talking about the excitement that you all have being kind of reconnected, being teammates next year?
Yeah, they're excited. I know I talked to Christian Zilli. He said that I'm gonna love it there, just like practicing and working out every day and stuff. And same thing with Joe Fedor. Like he said, I'll love it there.
Well, it sounds like you've got some great recommendations, some a lot to look forward to heading into next year and whatnot. But I want to start from the very beginning with you. What was it that drew you to baseball? I mean, when did you first start playing, and how did you get interested in the sport?
I honestly couldn't even tell you. I just remember playing t-ball when I was younger, and then my friends in kindergarten and first grade were playing, so I wanted to like be on the same team as them, and I just kept playing from there.
Now, when did you start playing competitively? I mean, when did you start kind of thinking to yourself, I'd like to push this a little bit further than high school and maybe push this to college?
So around 9 or 10, like my West Hempfield like friends, we all made like a metro team, we called it. And we were pretty good, but like it was like 13 is when our team kind of like fell apart, and I went to All American to start playing more competitively and doing more showcases and tournaments.
Well, I know that you've got a big competition coming up next week with the playoffs, and I'm sure that you and your Spartans are very excited about it. I'd love to hear just kind of what is the overall group's mindset right now in practice, just at school with, again, you have, I would say, a good bit of time in between the regular season ending and then the playoffs starting about a week or so. So you have a lot of time to think about it, get mentally prepared. What's the team's mindset right now heading into next week?
We're just trying to stay humble. We're working hard every day at practice, and we think if we hit, then we'll have a good shot at going deep into the playoffs.
I know, and I'm glad you bring up the hitting because that's kind of come and go as the season has gone on. You guys had a great first part of the season, kind of struggled in the last part of the season, but you finished the year strong with back-to-back wins. So probably a very, very kind of relieving feeling for you and your group. How do you guys put that kind of last part of the regular season away and try to replicate what you guys were doing in the earlier part of the season to start playoffs?
We just try and have a short mind, like forget about our previous at bat and just keep looking forward to the next at bat, and not trying to get into our heads.
Well, I know that obviously you guys want to make it all the way to the mountaintop of the WPIAL and be crowning champions, but what do you think is going to be important? What do you think will be key for you guys getting to the championship game and ultimately capturing a WPIAL title?
Definitely our hitting. Like if we can hit the above average arms that we're going to see all the way through the playoffs, I think we'll be fine. Our pitching and defense has been pretty solid all year. So I have a feeling we're going to play a sound game, or like a defensively sound game. So as long as we hit, then we should be okay.
Well, just make sure that those bats show up to the ballpark, and I'm sure you guys will be just fine. Again, thanks so much for joining today, Gage. And as always, we really appreciate you stopping by, and good luck in not only the playoffs, but also your next journey at Seton Hill.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's Seton Hill baseball commit Gage Wheaton. And as always, thanks so much for joining us on another fantastic edition of Recruiting Thursday right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.